The Deputy Prime Minister on the government's vision for the revitalization of Grand Bahama's economy and properties on the Lucaia Strip. Today was decision day for hotel workers, and tomorrow is local government elections. We'll tell you what parliamentary officials have to say.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic news this evening, the revitalization of Grand Bahama's struggling economy said to be high on the government's agenda, and many say a major component is the economic revival of the Lucaia Strip. Now, in this report, the Deputy Prime Minister talks about what's on tap for the future of this island's leading tourism hub. Italia Hall reports.
This area in Lucaia has been in a state of depression for some time now. Since Hurricane Matthew, a number of shops, the casino, and hotel properties have been closed. But the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquist, is encouraging residents to remain optimistic as there's good news in the making.
Of course, we want to make sure that we have the right partners, that the deal, if you will, is one that is good for the investor as well as for the Bahamian people and for the workers, one that is going to add value to the destination. We believe that we have that investors identified, and so now it's a matter of working through details to iron out any differences we may have and present to the Bahamian people what we think will be a winning solution.
The Deputy Prime Minister says the Lucaia Strip is the lifeline of most of the businesses in that area.
It is a value add for the cruise industry as they use the facilities. The Grand Celebration uses it as an add-on to their product. This is critical to getting our tourism plant back up and going.
He added that the government is aware that a large amount of employees depend on the major hotel properties to support their families, and they are working hard to restore Grand Bahama to its former glory.
This is a top priority for us as a government, and we are believing, we know that there are some very good things that are in the pipe, and hopefully we'll start to see some things come to fruition in short order. So I'll just say to Grand Bahamians again, we are resilient people, we are determined people. Hang on a little longer, this is going to turn around.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Well, it is decision day for the membership of the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services and Allied Workers. As the future of hotel properties on the Lucaia Strip remains unclear, members say they need representation that will look out for the best interest of all members. Megan Shepard reports.
Members of the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services and Allied Workers headed to the polls early Wednesday morning to elect leaders that will fight for their concerns. There are some 320 members in the union, and incumbent President Michelle Dorsett says she believes that members will re-elect her in order to continue the work she has begun.
The most concern really is about getting an industrial agreement signed off. And as we speak as today, our lawyer, Mr. Sherlin and Co., they are sitting down with the lawyer Grams and Co. to get matters done swiftly and fast because there's an urgency. As you can know, there are sale people want to buy the hotel, so it's a process. But once we get over this hurdle, have an industrial agreement, everything will be smooth and sailing smooth. The working environment, we already made our complaint. The Labor Department came there to look at the complaints of the concerns of the workers. That has been now under investigation.
The crossover team is challenging Dorsett and the Journey team for leadership. Candidate for the first vice president position, Stephen Neely, says he believes that now is a critical time for change.
Our vision with Team Crossover is pretty simple. We strive for accountability, transparency, and love. We don't hate anyone that we work with. It's just a disagreement we have with leadership. It's pretty simple, and we look forward to this process. But it is our hope that we do succeed and triumph over this.
Running independently for the position of first vice president is Gary Lewis. He says he believes that his experience in the business will set him apart.
I think I have the more experience dealing with the hotel, the capacity of union activities, the industrial agreement, and the disciplinary action, and salaries, disputes, and so forth associated with the industrial agreement.
As these members cast their votes shortly after 9 a.m., they shared what they expect from the leadership going forward.
They could do more for the staff. Basically, what really is going on now, you know, we get no response from the previous leader. You know, we've been having no problem. We ain't been getting no type of response from him. So I think that we need to change him and just work with somebody else.
My concern is to be treated fairly. Over the hurricane, we needed help. There was not there for us. All of a sudden now there's help. That election is here. I need to be treated as everybody else.
The election process was held at the Department of Labor and polls closed at 5 p.m. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, we are just one day away from the local government election. Hundreds of persons have nominated to serve their communities, and thousands are expected to cast their votes come tomorrow. Tonight, the administrator is giving some insight as to what will happen come Election Day. 121 persons have nominated for the local government election set for Thursday. Family Island Administrator Preston Cunningham says it is the largest slate of candidates in history. But he is warning persons who are vying to serve their communities that this is serious business.
This is not a game effort. I might add, one, if you would have nominated, I would have expected you to have read the Local Government Act. Secondly, the procedural manual for local government. Secondly, if you are about billet, this is not for you. If you are about personal and selfish gains, this is not for you. If you have entered the race along political lines, this is not for you. This is not about party politics.
He says what local government really is about is meeting the needs of your community at a local level. With that said, he believes that once the right candidates are selected, change will be seen and felt throughout the island of Grand Bahama.
Let me say that I'm very, very encouraged that a whole number of young persons nominated for this process. And so at the end of the day, I look forward to a good mix, the kind of mix that could only bring about success for the city of Freeport. New ideas, new vision. We could only get better as the time progresses.
He shares this vital information with residents who will cast their ballots in the Freeport area.
If you are in the Pine Ridge constituency, you are allowed to vote for only 2 persons. If you are in central Grand Bahama, 2 persons. And if you are in East Grand Bahama constituency, polling divisions number 3, 4, 7, 8, 9A, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, you vote only for 2 persons. More than 2, you would have spoilt your ballot.
But he notes that the Marco City Township is a bit different.
You are permitted to vote for 3 persons. And at the end of the day, the composition of the city of Freeport will be 9 members. 9.
The polls open at 8 a.m. and will close at 6 p.m. The unofficial results are expected to be in by Thursday evening. Well, as you've heard, the countdown is on to the local government election on Grand Bahama and the Family Islands on Thursday. As eligible voters prepare to go to the polls to cast ballots, tonight we conclude our series on the purpose and the power of local government. Sabrina Brown reports.
She was first elected to the local government council in the city of Freeport district in 2002 and served for 3 terms. During her 9-year tenure, April Crother-Gow ascended to the rank of Deputy Chief Counselor. After leaving in 2011, she says she always kept a close eye on the operations of the council. Crother-Gow says the system needs true community-minded people who are innovators. She's appealing to Bahamians to vote responsibly.
We don't need people who are just going to pull ideas out of a hat that are unrealistic. Like I've heard in the last 2 or 3 weeks, someone has promised people, if I'm elected, I'm going to raise the minimum wage. That is not your function. Do you know what the function of local government is? How can you raise the minimum wage if you cannot take care of 22 parks?
She says local government is not a game, and those elected to serve must exercise fiscal prudence when it comes to the allocated budget.
You have to look at that budget and see, at least for the first year, how you're going to make miracles happen. The budget has gone from 1996 to 2-point-something million to now under $1 million. Usually 50% of that budget is operational costs. You do have staff. We're allowed to hire staffing and administrative staff, which we need.
Another former deputy chief counselor in the city of Freeport, Rudy Sawyer, served for 2 terms from 1996. He says during his term in office, party politics was not an issue.
That team that I was a part of realized that they were an important unit that were in place for the good of their community. Politics really became secondary. Once we sat around that table, it was issues that we dealt with that we had to resolve for ourselves and for our benefit. Had nothing to do with those representatives at the national level. They didn't sit around that table. They didn't have any input on what we did.
He's encouraging all eligible Bahamians to go out and vote on Thursday.
And I certainly encourage them to go out there and vote. Find the people who have proven themselves through some of the activities they have done. They've proven themselves to be responsible citizens, have proven themselves to have certain skill sets that could actually help in the whole overall thing. Cast your votes for them.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this.